To use Snapshot, your organization must first sign an agreement with OCSS. Once the agreement is in place, an individual user login must be created for each user within your organization. Finally, you must obtain consent from the parent to access their child support keys information in the snapshot and enter it into the system as a request. This is done to protect client confidentiality. Client confidentiality is very important to OCSS and to you and your client. There are 3 steps to access information from the snapshot. First, the parent must digitally or manually sign the Child Support Snapshot Authorization Notice, which is commonly referred to as the consent form or waiver. After you have their permission, you can submit a request to view your client's information on Snapshot. The last step is uploading the signed consent to Snapshot. Let's walk through the process together. To get started, we first need to open an internet browser, such as Explorer, Chrome, or Firefox. Type in the URL and then press enter. Now we're on the login page for Snapshot. On this screen, you'll see that the login credentials are required. You'll use the information you were provided. Typically, the username is the first 4 letters of your last name and the last 4 digits of your Social Security number. Initially, you'll use the temporary password provided and then create a permanent one. If you experience any issues with logging in, contact the HRA Data Security Help Desk at the contact information listed on this page. When you're ready to continue, click Continue. Now I'm going to log in. First, I'll enter my username and then my password, and then I'll click on Sign In. Now the welcome page displays. You'll see that there are 3 options. First, New Request, which is for accessing information for parents who are ready to consent to having their information shared through the snapshot. Then, View Request, which allows you to search for parents who previously consented to sharing their information through the snapshot. And last, is the consent form upload, which is where you upload new consent forms to the snapshot once you've received the signed copy from the parent. The menu at the top allows you to navigate between these options: Home, Requests, Forms, and Help. Within Help, you'll find the complete user guide for the snapshot. There is also contact information if you or your client have any questions or concerns regarding the child support program. Finally, if you're experiencing any technical issues with the tool, a designated email address is also provided in the Help section. After signing in, the first step is to check View Request to see if your client has previously consented to release their information to you via the snapshot. If not, they will be considered a new request. Entering a new request to the snapshot requires the parent to sign and date the consent form. Either they will be doing this for the first time, or again, if the previous consent form is more than 12 months old. With that said, only begin with the new request option once you are certain the parent is entirely new to the tool. Let's go through an example. Our client's name is Carl Smith. Since we're not positive if he's consented previously, we'll need to confirm this by clicking on View Request. When you're ready, click on that option. Now I'll enter Carl's information. First, I'll type Carl, now Smith, and then select Search. No records are found, so Carl has never completed a consent form for the snapshot. Go ahead and click on Request from the menu bar above. New Requests. When entering a new request, there are 3 required fields: first name, last name, and date of birth. For this scenario, I'll go ahead and enter his first name, then his last name, then I'll enter Carl's DOB as a 2-digit month, 2-digit day, and a 4-digit year. Now that we have all the required fields, I'll click on Print Participant Consent Form. The form can be generated into several languages. It defaults to English, which is what we need, and I'll go ahead and click OK. Here's Carl's consent form. It requires you to enter all the necessary information. Once complete, you'll give this to your client to sign and date. If your client needs help creating a digital signature, provide them with the Adobe Reader website on the screen. This form authorizes us to access their data and explains what data is being shared. This is a two-page form, so I'll scroll down to the second page. This page explains how the parent can revoke the access you have been given to their data. You can save this form by clicking here, then clicking on Save. After that, you can send it to your client to digitally sign and date it. If they prefer a handwritten signature and date, then once complete, the form will need to be scanned as a PDF. For this example, I've already filled out my portion of the form and emailed it to Carl to complete. Before we submit Carl's information to Snapshot, just a few items to keep in mind. Once a parent signs the consent form, it needs to be saved as a PDF to a folder on your local computer. In the interest of time, I've completed these steps. Now, the PDF version of consent must be uploaded within 24 hours of the parent completing it. We'll do that step together. Remember, authorization lasts for 12 months. Before we do that, first, we need to acknowledge that Carl has signed the form by clicking in this checkbox. Then I'll click Submit. Great! Carl Smith's request has been approved. Click on OK to see how many child support cases are associated with him. We can see Carl has 2 child support cases, which are listed under the Participant Case ID column. The Participant Type column shows Carl is a custodial parent in one of his cases, while he is a non-custodial parent in the other. To the right of the Participant Case ID, you can see if there are any undisbursed funds indicated for the parent in the Unclaimed Money column. For Carl's case as a non-custodial parent, there is a yes underlined or hyperlinked. Once clicked, it reveals how much the potential refund would be for Carl. This screen also allows the Snapshot user to provide OCSS with an updated address for Carl. If the snapshot indicates your client is owed, it is best to have them contact OCSS's customer service office for further assistance. Before moving on, it's important to note if there were no cases listed for Carl and his participant status was participant not known to OCSS, this would likely mean he does not have an NYC child support case. If this happens, and your client is a custodial parent, then try to encourage them to consider the benefits of opening a child support case. If your client is not known to OCSS, you will not need to upload the consent form to Snapshot because no child support information is available. Now we're ready to upload Carl's consent. At the top of the page, click on the tab Forms. And then Consent Form Upload. On the Upload Request screen, you'll see 3 options: Required, Overdue, and Completed. Because we're uploading Carl's consent today, his request is listed here and Required, since it's been less than 24 hours since we generated his consent form. For definitions of the other 2 options, Overdue and Completed, you can use your mouse to roll over those fields. Otherwise, let's get Carl's consent entered into the snapshot. When you're ready, go ahead and click on Upload for Carl's request. Since I have saved the PDF to my local drive, I'll navigate to the file for Carl's consent. Then I'll select the PDF of Carl's consent. Then I'll click Open and click on Upload File. Great, consent was successfully uploaded. Click OK. Now that we have consent uploaded, let's look at Carl's snapshot report. Go ahead and click on Request from the main, then View Request. Now let's open a case summary for Carl's case with a participant type non-custodial parent. When you are ready, click on the document icon in the orange highlighted section. It is important to note that information may not be the most current and is subject to change as the snapshot is updated every 30 days with fresh data. For instance, if Carl indicates that he requested any changes to be made to his account or that he made a recent payment that is not reflected on the document, then it may have yet to download into the snapshot tool.